Beautiful Vandal.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is internet personality Vangelus here with a chibified review of Deforide Kamen Rider Ryuki. This obscenely cute event was brought to you by Hobbylink Japan. This is only one in a series of Deforide Kamen Rider toys. Off the top of my head, I believe that Fies and Decade also got this treatment. It's a really cool idea and surprised me in a few little ways. So let's put on some pink bunny ears and take a look at this kawaii no Kamen Rider. This is totally the result of some sort of mutated cute vent card. The sculpt and paint are really clean, and in particular, I like the way the eyes were done in having painted, sculpted eyes with a separate venting piece laid over top. One quibble would be the lack of fingers, but a lot of those kinds of simplifications can be chalked up to the chibi style of the figure. And here's where the toy really surprised me. He's a chibified little Ryuki, but he's also poseable. He's got like a fully ball-jointed neck, he's got quite a bit of shoulder motion, elbows and wrists, although this wrist is locked up with the drag visor. The wrists are just a simple cut swivel. There's even like a ball-jointed ab crunch waist deal, poseable hips, double-jointed knees on something this tiny, and full ankle posability with heavy tiltage. And with these clunky little boots he's got, it means that he can stand up pretty solidly in a lot of poses, and that is really helpful given the enormous size of his head. I cannot begin to describe to you how amazing it was when I realized that this was actually poseable, because I think that the chibi styling thing, it's always kind of neat, but also a lot of these toys tend to be bricks, and to see one that actually has joints made me get really pumped up. He also includes this stand, so if you want to have him doing like flying kicks and stuff, you just peg it into the back, and he can totally do a chibified rider kick. So this alone made me fall in love with this toy. And this is not all that it does. It's also got some accessories. And again, harkening back to Sochok Henshin and harkening back to R&M and basically doing something again I did not expect out of a chibi-style toy, all the accessories come in the form of a little cute drag redder. This is just too cool. It's a teeny tiny drag redder, and he's got pretty much all the detailing and painting you'd want on this memorable monster. Nothing was skimped, and again, it's all very clean and crisp. I really like it. Unfortunately, this guy is not all that poseable. It feels like there's some kind of jointage between the segments of the dragon body, but I don't really see how they can do anything. He can move his little arms. Actually, they can also fall off because they're just pegged in. His little mouth can also open and close, so tiny drag redder is sort of endearing, and much like the R&M and Sochok Henshin series, you can disassemble him into the various different vent component weapon armor system thingies that chibified Ryuki would use, leaving behind this somewhat terrifying little limbless, headless, tailless dragon body. And in order to use those accessories, you actually get another set of hands with Deforide Ryuki. He comes with 2 fists and 2 open hands. I've got one of each on here because his little vent actually requires the open hand to fully fit in place here. But switching the hands is very easy. They're just pegged in, and once you have this one in place, you can do stuff like give him his sword vent. It clips right on there, and now a little tiny chibi Ryuki can totally cut little tiny mirror monsters and have little tiny, totally surprisingly dark adventures in a surprisingly twisted little TV series, which I quite enjoyed, actually. The guard vent pieces attach actually quite logically. It's a little bit of a tight fit with the huge head, but they just peg snugly onto those shoulder circles. And this is another thing where I kind of thought that being a chibi-style figure, they just give you like separate shoulders or something to swap in, but no, it's all very logical and highly toyetic, which, again, as I said, surprised me, and I really enjoy this. Problem is, it's hard to pose his arms without these things just falling off, and that combined with the ease in which the little dragon limbs can fall off means this is a little bit more of a display mode rather than a play mode. Yeah. Anyway, with all this stuff aside, let's say that little chibi Ryuki's fighting some tiny mirror monster far away. He's going to want to use his strike vent. Once again employing a bit of a hand swap, you just got to pop off one of his little hands and then stick the drag redder head onto the stump. Which can be a little bit tricky to line up, because it's recessed inside the dragon scales, the little hole you're going for. This is actually kind of tricky, but once we get it, there we go, it clips in very solidly. There's actually a little bit of a pop, and now you totally can shoot dragon facials at all kinds of monsters. I mean, some mirror monsters might be into this. You know, Ryuki's a pretty twisted little world, but you can totally go like, "Ha, desu!" And it's fantastically cute. That's really the best way to describe this guy, ladies and gentlemen. He is so cute! What makes this figure so interesting to me is the fact that it adds posability and playability to the chibification style done many times in past. If this were a statue, or vaguely posable nigh statue, or limb-swapping nigh statue, I would find it an interesting novelty at best. Instead, it's a very well-rounded figure that is ideal for any fan of Kamen Rider Ryuki or Dragon Knight. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus, and I feel my head constantly swelling as the rest of my body shrivels up to the proportions of an infant. I think I'm gonna run before I turn into a Hello Kitty. I'll see you all matinee, uguuu!